Hello, I'm Steve Goldsmith, Professor of Government and Director of the Innovations in American Government program at Harvard's Kennedy School. And with Neil Kleiman, a professor at NYU, we've written a book, A New City OS, published by Brookings. So having worked at the Harvard Kennedy School with mayors and chiefs of staff and chief data officers, we see really committed public servants who want to dramatically improve the quality of life in their communities. We also see technological tools that can allow them to do that, but in the middle are these restrictions, old operating systems which resist new modern deployments. And what we're hoping is that mayors and their public employees and civic groups and state legislators and civic hackers will look at this book and see, look, here's a different way that we can produce public services. Well, the definition of professionalism in most places across the U.S. and in really highly developed civil service systems is very well developed professional skills. Somebody rides up in a narrow vertical and learns professionally how to produce services. But that's not the way people live. They don't live in vertical silos. They live in a neighborhood, right? They live horizontally. And so in our distributed world, think Facebook, think any one of the platforms we use, knowledge now is socially put together, right? Systems are distributed and they're not hierarchical. Data is not controlled in one place. And the definition of professionalism is how you listen and how you learn and how you collaborate, not how you order. So what we're thinking about in terms of this distributed form of government is how does government take advantage of distributed learning? How does it put it together for more effective solutions? How does it listen to citizens who speak with each other and with government in new ways? Well, so public sector management is top-down. You know, the old progressive form of government that has been celebrated for so long is based on a tight set of rules that tells public employees how to follow definite set of activities, right? It's very command and control, very hierarchical. But there's so much knowledge available today that's distributed. Well, it turns it on its head by saying, look, what we need to do is take our professional skills, listen to communities better, collaborate in different ways, use digital systems, and produce a higher level of quality of services. We need to identify outliers. We need to predict problems. There's all sorts of ways that we can redesign government around the user rather than around the professional agency. But let's imagine this is my iPhone and this is an app in my iPhone. If I don't like the app in my iPhone, I don't use that app, right? I'll get some other app or I won't use it at all, right? So now let's think about government. If government says, if I want to communicate with my citizens, how should I communicate with them? Well, we're suggesting that the user experience of the citizen ought to be the orientation of the government, regardless of whether I'm using my Android or iPhone, regardless of whether I'm walking in City Hall or calling in City Hall, regardless whether I'm using an SMS to text in my experiences. All of that should be designed around the user. Today, the way government operates, it's designed around the agency, and the definition of effectiveness is effectiveness of that agency. It's not effectiveness in terms of how we reduce the time and the transactional cost and the difficulty of communicating or participating with government. So the new UX says let's put the citizen at the center and design around him or her. In the new OS for cities, in essence, we're saying, look, organize government around the user, point one. Point two, make your public employees smarter. Send them decision support information in the field in real time that they can move from producing activities to solving problems. Measure how long it takes you actually to produce a solution. Why should we make folks who want to open a restaurant or a small business spend a half a year going from silo to silo in City Hall? A digital, distributed form of government arranged around the user with a consideration of that user's time can increase the responsiveness of government, in turn increase the trust in government, allowing your local and state governments to produce even more aspirational attainment for their communities.